Ladies and dudes, I really do want to apologize to all of you that I'm very, 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 very darn sorry. Over 9,000 that I haven't done a movie review for a while. And I will let you know is, for all the movie reviews I've done so far, I made it to over 271 movie reviews. And I know that's very, very darn a lot. I know everybody else has a lot of movie reviews that has, a lot of big records than mine. That's for sure. And I guess everybody wants to know is, what is my next movie review of the day? Well, I'll give you a hint. To be or not to be? That is the question. You got it. It's Hamlet. One of the most popular Shakespearean plays of all time. And I know, ladies and dudes, I know, over 9,000, there's a whole lot of versions of Hamlet. And I guess you want to know is, which one of these Hamlet versions that I will do for my movie review of the day? I'll give you a hint. It features Monsieur Hercule Poirot. This one is pretty darn underrated. That's for sure. Well, anyway, hi, ladies and dudes. This is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boobug 1987. This is my review for today. And today, I do have a movie review, ladies and dudes. Boy, it's been a while I haven't done movie reviews, since I'm trying really hard to pick which one I want to do next. Next, strike that, reverse it. Yeah, it's a very hard thing to do. But I'm glad this movie came up. And like I said, I'm a big fan of underrated movies. And this one is a pretty darn underrated one. At best. And yes, the most strangest fun fact about this version of Hamlet, it became 4 hours and 2 minutes. One of the most longest Hamlet versions ever in film history. So anyway, for my next movie review is Hamlet, the 1996 version. And I was 9 years old back then, and I don't know anything about it. And yeah, I did discover this movie last year. I checked out some Hamlet stuff. I did remember there is a 2024 version play of it that took place in the modern days. And surprisingly to say, I really did not know that Kenneth Branagh did a version of Hamlet. And he made a pretty darn long one. And he directed that film. That's for sure. And I guess everybody wants to know what the heck do I think about this version of Hamlet. So without further ado, ladies and dudes, let's head on to my next movie review of Hamlet, the 1996 version. Okay, what the heck I want to say about the main plot of the story? All I know is it took place in Denmark, so around in the 1800s, well, the 19th century thing. It's a story about a dude named Hamlet who wants to seek revenge on his uncle for what the heck he had done to his father, and also brainwashing his mother. Well, yeah, to tell you the truth is, that guy who's the uncle of Hamlet who did brainwash the queen and becoming his wife. And there's a lot of chaos going on here and there. And it's up to Hamlet to take care of the job once and for all. And also he has a friend on his side and a poor love interest who's pretty darn tragic. Way too hard for me to explain about the main plot of the story. That's all I could say about that. You know, it's kind of like later on we got the Hamlet adaptation of The Lion King. That's all I could say about that. I guess that's all I could say about the main plot of the story, because it's way too hard for me to explain. If you guys know the Shakespearean storyline pretty darn well for I don't know how many years you've seen any versions of Hamlet. So I guess everybody wants to know is, what the heck do I think about this movie? Well, to tell you the truth is, ladies and dudes, I really did enjoy this movie. I mean, this movie did blow me away from start to finish, and it's just mind-boggling. Kenneth Branagh did a pretty good job making his own version of Hamlet. In his very own style, I guess. The storyline is pretty good for the most part. The characters are pretty darn likable. I will say the characters are a whole lot better than the ones from Romeo and Juliet. I think this version, well, this Shakespeare play, I think they fleshed out and developed the characters way better than Romeo and Juliet. It has really nice cinematography, really good scenes that happen in one shot and one shot only. The score is pretty good for the most part. And yeah, the costume designs are good. And the ending was pretty darn sad, I will admit. And what else do I like? Oh yeah, I also like the casting. The casting is pretty good in so many ways. They did pick the rightful actors and actresses at the very rightful time. So, thumbs up to Kenneth Branagh and this version of Hamlet. So, okay, what is my strongest points and the weakest points of Hamlet, the 1996 version? I'll have to go on a tie. Just a tie. For the two best scenes in the whole entire movie, and so many great scenes here and there that happen in one shot and one shot only. The first strongest point of the movie is so many great scenes that happen in one shot and one shot only. I mean, Kenneth Branagh is such a genius. He is a freaking genius of giving us so many scenes in the film that happen in one shot only, that has no editing parts. I mean, he just used the camera very, very still, give those actors and actresses some very good screen time to feature a great shot in the film. It's hard for me to explain about movies that happen one shot only thing. After all, it did happen before in the Nosferatu, the 24 version. Yeah, the 2024 version. I gotta remember that. Okay. There was one for Nosferatu, the 2024 version. I remember there's only one scene that featured the Taken, the Commuter, Made in Italy, John Wick Chapter 3 Pet Development, that featured one good scene that happened one shot only, and also the one shot that happened in Les Miserables, the 2012 version. If you know these scenes that feature one shot only scenes, you'll know what I'm talking about. And also the two best scenes I cared about in this movie, and two great scenes only. One great scene is that actor who played Moses from the Ten Commandments. I really enjoyed a character that he played, some type of actor who's playing an actor, where he's telling everybody a really cool story about a guy who has fallen to his fate while there is some Roman war going on that took place in Rome. And that actor who played an actor, he is such a great storyteller. And don't get me wrong, I think that actor who did Moses from the Ten Commandments, I think he could be old enough to be Willem Dafoe's father. If you pay attention to his voice and his face very carefully. Shockingly to say. And also, I fell in love with that chase scene, you know, where all the cops and these two dudes who know Hamlet very well, they're going to chase after him for some unknown reason. It was so darn funny. And I really love the part where Hamlet goes completely insane in that scene in the film. Something that makes me laugh. I really love that scene. And yes, that's one of the scenes that happened in one shot and one shot only, where you see everybody surrounded Hamlet for some unknown reason. And it was just so darn funny. I just love that scene very much. And yes, ladies and dudes, there's a couple of fun facts that you should know about Hamlet. One interesting fun fact is, did you know that Hamlet and Hercule Poirot have two things in common, just two things only? It's about the face. If you pay attention to the face, the mustache and the beard. Did you know that their mustaches and beards do look alike? And to tell you the truth is, maybe this is where Kenneth Branagh has that, the personality thing, just like Hercule Poirot. Since it is played by the very same actor. Who knew? And another interesting fun fact you should know about Hamlet is, yes, that Billy Crystal and Robin Williams got involved in this film for a short period of time. You did know that they're friends in real life. They are really good pals, and they know Whoopi Goldberg pretty well, since they did some comedy things together. So that's a nice, interesting fun fact to know. And yes, there is another interesting fun fact you should know about this movie of Hamlet. You did know that Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, since they are responsible in Titanic, they do have two things in common and two things only. One, they did get involved with the Shakespeare adaptation, well, whichever version it will be, the Hamlet or Romeo and Juliet. And speaking of Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet, both of these films that did came out in the year of 1996. Cool, huh? You got two good cast members who did Titanic, who did get involved in whatever Shakespeare version it'll be. It came out in the very same year. Surprisingly to say. Yep. I will say that is really a good fun fact to be found. So, those are the fun facts I could find for Hamlet. And I will say for my weakest points of the movie is, there was one point in the movie that took place in the beginning of the story. There was a part where there's some editing rushing moments. Something about one of Hamlet's friends, those two bodyguard dudes, they're trying to run away from the former king's ghost. I think there was too much editing going on here and there, and they need to slow down with the editing thing. That kind of bothered me from the beginning of the story. And also, what happened to those two characters? That kind of bothered me very much. Yeah, there were two characters I really am concerned about. Just two characters. One character was played by that French dude, this Gerard guy. I can't remember his last name. But anyway, about this guy who's a French dude, we only seen him in one scene only, and he was never mentioned again the whole entire movie. Strange thing to say. I wonder whatever happened to that guy. I wonder where was he from the rest of the Hamlet storyline? Yeah, he was never mentioned. And also, the part at the end of the movie. What the hell happened to Robin Williams' character? All I remember, that poor guy got wounded so badly, and he has blood that's covered up in his hand. I'm not sure if he did survive or not, or he really did die off screen. So they never explained that part in the movie. What the hell happened to him? Who knows? What the heck I should say about the characters of the movie? I will say everybody did a good job. Everybody. I do like Hamlet. He's a wild, crazy, insane character who wants to get the job done. I feel bad for Ophelia. I hope I got her name right. She's a very tragic and lonely character, and yeah, she did go insane for somewhere around the mid-half of the, maybe, the second half of the story, or just the third halfway to the story. I think the best character in the whole entire movie is truly the friend of Hamlet. He's a really good, understandable character, and he's the only guy that Hamlet could trust all the way through to the end of the story. I wish I could say more about it, so that's all I could say about that, the character-wise. And I will say, for my final thoughts about the film, I will say Hamlet, the 1996 version, is one of the best Hamlet stories I have ever seen in my whole entire life, and a very underrated one at best. It had a good storyline, likable characters, good casting, good cinematography. It had a really good score. I love the one-shot moments that happen in the film. There were two scenes that are truly the best parts about the movie. It's just a good movie to watch. And I decided to give it a 9 out of 10. And I gotta get going on my day. So I'll see you all later, and sayonara.